Welcome to Quick MCAT Lessons, where I try to explain MCAT topics in 10 minutes or less. Today, we're diving into Starling Forces. So, capillaries are the smallest blood vessels and the primary site of nutrient, gas, and waste exchange between blood and tissues. Now, exchange can happen in two ways: by diffusion, and this is how small molecules like oxygen, carbon dioxide, and glucose move down their concentration gradients, and by bulk flow. This is the movement of fluid based on pressure differences. This is where Starling forces come in. Now, fluid movement across capillaries is governed by two opposing pressures: your hydrostatic pressure and your osmotic pressure. Your hydrostatic pressure pushes fluid out of the capillary into the interstitial space. It is the force per unit area that the blood exerts against the vessel walls, and it's generated by the contraction of the heart and the elasticity of the arteries. It can be measured in large arteries as blood pressure. This is highest at the arterial end of the capillary, and it goes down when it gets to the venule end. Oncotic pressure, also known as osmotic pressure, pulls fluid into the capillary due to plasma proteins, mainly albumin. This is the sucking pressure generated by solutes as they draw water into the bloodstream. Since most of this osmotic pressure is attributable to plasma proteins, it's called oncotic pressure. This stays relatively consistent through the capillary. Now, at the arterial end, you have hydrostatic is greater than oncotic. This gives you a net efflux of water because, remember, hydrostatic pushes fluid out of the capillary, and as fluid moves out, your hydrostatic pressure actually drops, and the osmotic pressure stays the same. And this is why at the venous end, you have more oncotic than hydrostatic, and this leads to a net influx of water. So, at the arterial end, your hydrostatic pressure is 36 millimeters of mercury, and your osmotic pressure is 25 millimeters of mercury. So you have your 11 millimeter mercury efflux out of the arterial. And at the venule end, or the venous end, you have 15 millimeters of mercury of your hydrostatic pressure, and you still have 25 millimeters of mercury of your osmotic pressure. This leads to a 10 millimeters of mercury influx into the venule. And you see there's a disparity. There's 11 efflux, 10 influx, and any fluid that doesn't enter back or it isn't reabsorbed enters the lymphatic system and eventually returns to the bloodstream via the thoracic duct or the lymphatic duct. Now, during inflammation, capillaries dilate. This increases the size of the intercellular clefts and allows for more space for white blood cells to migrate into tissues. An unfortunate side effect of this is edema. Edema occurs when there is excess water in the tissues, and this causes swelling. This happens if capillaries dilate, or if filtration greatly exceeds reabsorption, or if you have excess salt in your body. This can also be due to high hydrostatic pressure, which can be in heart failure. You could have low plasma proteins in liver disease, or you could have a lymphatic blockage. That's it for this episode. Next time we'll talk about portal systems.